Hey y'all, SuperSonicNinja here. The day has come where I talk about Dogman. I put in a poll like some time ago, and now what we're gonna do is for the favorite franchises playlist, we're gonna read and rank all of the books. And I'm like pretty sure this is a full collection, and then it's broken up Brawl of the Wild. I don't know why it's broken up like that, but it doesn't matter. Now I'm only pretty sure this is the full collection because I don't pay attention to it as much as I used to. Like, I'll just go to the store with my mom, and if there's a new Dogman book, I'll buy it. Now, you might have the argument of that's wasteful spending. Have you met me? For this review, I'm only doing books 1 through 10. Why? Because I genuinely have a hard time reading now. I think I've gotten too used to the screen, unfortunately, so you know what? 1 through 10 is pretty fitting, I thought, because that was the period in which I was a true Dogman fan. So yeah, I'll be reading and ranking all 10 of these books, and then I'll talk about the movie, and then we'll talk an overall. Okay, so let's begin. The original Dogman, and I need a new copy of this book, as you can see. Tears on the side, some of the pages literally got ripped out. I don't even know how that happened. But overall, this is not that good of a book, but it is very charming. I think it's like not a good book on purpose because there's like so many weird errors within the book. It's just like, yeah, the grammar isn't all that good, but it's obviously written from the perspective of fourth graders and a first grade for one of the stories. And I don't know, overall, there's not really a full plot. It's just 4 different plots, just all in this one book. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad read. I think maybe the third one was definitely the weakest because it was just like a read propaganda. Like, you gotta read to be smart. It was so weird. I did not like that third story at all. The other 3, the first one was okay. Second and fourth one I really liked, but I think I like second just because a big part of the fourth story was ripped up. So I don't know, it probably is a tie between the second and fourth stories, but it was overall a good book. Like, it's a big book, but I'm gonna be honest, if you want something to read for like a while, I wouldn't recommend this book because I do not know how this happened, but I read this in like 5 minutes. Okay, maybe not 5 minutes, somewhere in between 5 to 10 minutes. And that's crazy. It's just that lots of these pages just don't have much dialogue. Like, as you can see right here, there's just not a lot here. So yeah, it's an okay book. I'd say like a 7 out of 10. Nah, maybe 6.5 out of 10. That sounds about right to me. Anyhow, let's okay, holy voice crack. Let's move on to the second book, which I remember liking significantly more. Okay, if I didn't make it obvious by my last section, I did kind of feel bored reading this one. I don't know, it kind of felt like after I read this, I'm like, oh, reading the rest of these is gonna be a chore. Dogman Unleashed was freaking amazing. There's so many silly jokes and so much stuff happening in this book. Sure, you can say it feels cluttered, but it is far more entertaining than this. This is just growing pains, and this is where it really starts and ends, because a major problem is introduced next book. But Dogman Unleashed is really good, and I'd recommend reading. One thing that I'm confused on, though, is I don't remember Petey ever returning, and he didn't die in this book. He was actually shown to just be alive, so whatever happened to him, who knows? But honestly, this is my favorite book. I remember in my childhood this was my favorite book, so maybe throughout this retrospective that's proved wrong, but I have a feeling this will be the best book. Moving on. Yep, there he is. Despite what I just said, I'm gonna be honest, Flippy was barely the problem here. I mean, yeah, he was annoying, but he acted more like a baby than the annoying brat he would turn into. The real problem with this book is everyone else. Everyone in this book, besides the 3 on the cover and Chief, I guess, they are so stupid. I could not deal with the people, like, how they were treating Dogman in this book. They were all so stupid, and what was it? Just this whole segment, this, like, this whole cringy segment. Flippy is just so... I don't want to say comically stupid, but... I mean, yeah, he... Did he meet Petey last book? I don't know. Stuff about this confuses me. They drive a French salad dressing truck just for a cool chapter name. I don't know. There's just a lot I don't like about this book. And why would they rewrite Flippy? Like, that is so stupid. Why would they give him a mechanical body? They said they wanted to study his brain. Dogman, being a dog, rolls in the fish and breaks his brain. So why rebuild him a mechanical new body? Like, what will that do to fix the brain? Like, this book is so stupid. I can't. I still hate it from childhood, but it's not for the same reasons as I did before, if that makes sense. This is how I'm just going to be ranking them. I'm just going to stack them on top of each other, best to worst, so yeah. Oh no, he's on the cover. This book was actually way better than I remember it being. Cat Kid is definitely less annoying the more you grow up, or at least... I'm sure he had more annoying parts, like, later on in the books, since this is just early Cat Kid. But I don't know, he wasn't bad here. Something I just found so funny was, like, this is the only Dogman character with the nipples. Yeah, that does not sound very appropriate. And then, like, the actual women in this just don't have them. So that's funny, like, Petey felt the need to do all that, like, there we go, an actual woman. And then, Petey had all that. Yeah, this book is just, like, there's so many stupid parts in this book, it makes it so entertaining. I guess that's probably gonna be a theme in this book, like, it's gonna be very stupid, and I don't know, that kind of helps it. So, I think it goes just under Dogman Unleashed. Tale of the Two Kittens, yeah, going back to it, was the first book that was a parody of a different book's title, Tale of the Two Cities. Cat Kid broke this chain, but from book 5 to 10, and I guess 11, they are all now based on books, so I thought I'd point that out. Anyway, on to Lord of the Flies. Or Fleas, I guess. Lord of the Fleas. Okay, this book surprised me. Out of all these title references, Lord of the Flies is the only one I've actually read. And there's a Lord of the Flies parody in here, and it's so funny. Also, according to earlier in the book, Jordan and Harold got into 5th grade, therefore they can read Lord of the Flies. No, don't let a 5th grader read Lord of the Flies. They're not ready, especially this generation. But honestly, the fact that they parodied that book was so funny, even for just that one chapter. Like, I always thought Lord of the Flies, or Fleas, oh my gosh. I always thought Lord of the Fleas was just kind of mid, but honestly, that one chapter alone, it was so funny. Like, this thing actually, like, verbally made me laugh. So, I don't know if I want to put on top of Unleashed for the nostalgia, but it's definitely better than Cat Kid. Dogman Brawl of the Wild. In between this recording, I kind of took a break from reading it. So yeah, 5 more books, let's get through this. And Brawl of the Wild, it was so good until the last chapter. Like, I'm telling you, this, like, was above Lord of the Flies for most of the time I was reading it. Oh my gosh. Lord of the Fleas for most of the time I was reading it. But that last chapter is so disgusting and made me so uncomfortable. So I'm gonna put it in between Dogman and Cat Kid. So yeah, it's honestly such a shame. Like, I know it's supposed to be the Dogman eats clay humor and the book built up to it, but it's so disgusting, man. I also like how much it took from the last 2 books, making it kind of like an arc. And from what I remember, the next book doesn't really cover much from the last 3 books, so I don't know, let's just get into that next book. Dogman, For Whom the Ball Rolls, is usually one of the most, like, books in the Dogman fandom, from what I've seen. In the making of this video, I actually watched a ton of Dogman YouTube videos to get a general consensus of how people look at the series, and Whom the Ball Rolls usually gets the short end of the stick. And I remember, like, this used to be, like, my favorite book as a kid. I mean, not besides Dogman Unleashed. And I kind of see the criticism now. But honestly, I think most of the humor landed. I just don't think there was enough of it. Petey's development was really good. The Dogman plot was kind of like really great. Like, I think this is one of the best times Dogman himself has been utilized in these books since like Unleashed, because we've had so much little Petey, but he took a back seat this book, so that really helped. And there was also the grandpa. I genuinely think this book is so underrated. It's above Follow the Wild, under Cat Kid. Yeah, I understand the criticism a lot more now, but honestly, underrated book. Dogman Fetch 22, a book, even as I was a child, I knew this was one of the middest Dogman books. Probably one of the worst, honestly, looking at my little tower of Dogman books. I don't know, there was just a lot of stuff that just felt kind of weird, like the villains, like this just random lady who failed on a TV show. The grandpa's shenanigans could have been good, where pushing the big gym stuff. A lot of the stuff in this book was very questionable. Everything with Dogman's good, but I swear we're seeing less and less of who is essentially supposed to be the main character. Oh yeah, random fun fact, during the making of this videos, I looked at all the Dogman spines, and I realized Cat Kid and Petey appear more than Dogman, and Dogman only appears on 2 of these spines, that being the Ball of the Wild and the original Dogman. Well, Petey appears in 4 and Cat Kid in 2, so like, is it really Dogman series, or is it just the Cat series? I don't know. I feel like at that point you just make a whole new, oh crap. This thing was the spawn of the Cat Kid comic club, and I don't even know why I picked up this book. I never liked Cat Kid as a child, and I can tell you now, even though I didn't reread this book, it is utter garbage. I don't really want to reread this book, to be honest. So yeah, Fetch 22 is probably the worst Dogman book, if I'm being so honest. I think it's actually on the same level as Tale of Two Kitties, but at least Tale of Two Kitties is kind of iconic, because that's mostly thanks to the movie, so yeah, this is certainly last place. Dogman, Grime and Punishment. With a title like that, and a cover like that, you surely think this is one of the most insane Dogman books there ever was. And this is one of the most mundane books I've ever read. Like, look at the Dogman series, and this is like Dogman in a nutshell in a book. Okay, so basically, I said before that my favorite parts in these books were the Dogman sections, but the Dogman sections are becoming all the same. Dogman makes a mistake, he has some arc, and he fixes his mistake on usually by some coincidence or accident or something like that. And it's just the same thing over again. I don't know, there's not a lot interesting to this book. It just feels kind of like, yep, it's just another Dogman book because we needed to pump one out. There was this Catman thing, which it was cool, but something similar happens next book, which is like way cooler because all the Cat Mask does is like hiss and stuff. And that's not even advertised on the book, which is like the only thing that really should be on the front of the book, the Catman thing. I don't know. This book feels very mediocre. There's just not that much to it. And I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I feel like it's worse than original. It's probably under Tale of Two Kittens, if I'm being honest. It's just so samesies. I think there's some cool like claymation stuff in there, but that was already in Brawl of the Wild, so not really breaking any barriers there. So it's going just above Fetch 22. Dogman Mothering Heights. The book everyone, I'm pretty sure, believed to be the finale of Dogman for some time, seeing as this book and the next book, it took like 20,000 years for them to make the next Dogman book, which I'm not covering in this video anyway, but from my perspective, this was the finale of me being a Dogman fan, because, again, everyone thought it was the finale of the series. Why be a fan of something that no longer exists? But, you know, Dogman Mothering Heights, it was definitely a better book than people say it is. Like, again, I've been watching, like, some Dogman retrospectives for this, and I feel like this is the most underrated Dogman book. It really tries to feel like a finale, but then it also has some weird stuff with the chief and the nurse out of nowhere. I feel like if that just got mentioned, like, anywhere before this, that would have been kind of better. Yeah, it's a little cringy in that spot, and maybe there are a little too many diarrhea jokes and stupid crap with little Petey and Molly. But for our two main protagonists, this seems like their finale. Well, I guess this is an anti-hero, but you know, whatever the case is, I feel like this is just such a finale book, and I think that's why it stands out. So I think on this little Tower of Dogman books, honestly, I think it's better than Whom the Ball Rolls and worse than Cat Kid. So let's discuss. So here's my rankings of Dogman 1 through 10, and to really give some closure to the book section of this video, I decided I'd go through each and every one of these books and I'd choose a word for them. I don't know, I thought it'd be fun. So fetch 22. Okay, I came up with a very good word for it, and it's unfocused, because it starts focusing on this fairy and then it makes a whole sub-series, and it doesn't focus on Dogman. This is a very unfocused book. Crime and Punishment, I think I made it very, very clear what my word for this was, and it's mundane. It's just another Dogman book. Tales of Two Kitties is, as low as it is on here, I think the word for it is iconic, because this is what started the little Petey stuff, and I don't know, it's just very iconic, especially thanks to the movie, which I guess you could also say for the first Dogman, but I feel like more than that, I feel like the first Dogman just shows very humble beginnings, which I know is a couple words, but who cares, word or phrase, I guess. This is just very humble beginnings. Breath of the Wild is so close to being good, but it's not, and I don't know how to put that in a single word or phrase. You know what? I think this is the sum up book of Dogman, because this encompasses everything about this franchise to me. It talks about, it shows us how good this franchise could be, how bad, how deep. I think it's just all in this book, so I think this is just the sum up book. Whom the Ball Rolls, underrated. Wuthering Heights finale. Those two are pretty easy, because I already mentioned how underrated I thought Ball Rolls is, and then Wuthering Heights, I just said how underrated it is. Cat Kid is another underrated book, but I think the word I'd use for this is developing, because it develops the franchise further. Lord of the Fleas. This one's funny. It's the funniest book. And Dogman Unleashed. Remember how we said Fetch 22 is the least focused? I think Unleashed is the most focused. And yeah, that's my word for everyone. This is first place. This is last place. I think Unleashed is a 9.5 out of 10. And I think Fetch 22 is a a 3.5 if I'm being honest. So yeah, this series has range, but without further ado, I guess we talk about the movies. Oh yeah, and each of these favorite franchises review, I forgot I needed a merch section, so look at there. It's my one piece of Dogman merch, the shirt. Guys rule. Because I needed to get this video out, this part's unscripted, and we're just gonna talk about the movie a little. It was a lot better than I remember. I've only watched it twice, this is my second viewing, and I was a lot more critical on my first viewing, because the message was kind of iffy. It was Dogman, trying to, move on from his old life, and honestly, I don't know, it's just that there's one part that's unresolved with, what is it, the Knight's, is that his name? Knight? I forgot. He has some girlfriend, and she just abandons the Dogman out of nowhere, and we just get nothing on that. That part confused me so much in the theater. Why introduce that if you're gonna do nothing with it? Other than that, the movie does everything it sets out to do, and Dogman's arc, would you believe it, is an actual arc. It's about like I said, about turning over a new leaf. Stuff happens and you gotta move on, and that's basically the core message of the movie, and I think it's actually handled very well, other than that whole weird girlfriend thing, which, come on, that should have had some sort of ending, I feel like. But this movie has one major problem, and it's not really a problem, it's that this movie just can't have a sequel, because it tries to run over basically every book in the whole movie, and it does a good job. It's mostly focusing on the third book, but you get hints of the first, second, and even seventh book in here, along with some other things. Sure, they could make a sequel with like the Fleece or something, but by this point, Petey's already like pardoned, and I don't know. There's just not much you can do with this story anymore. It's just over. Like, I would have loved like an adaptation of Brawl of the Wilds, but guess we're not getting that. Granted, I would not want to see that one scene in the last chapter on the big screen, but still, that it was still a very, very good movie, and something you just gotta kind of turn your brain off. Now, I know usually when someone uses that statement, it sounds like a bad thing, and I don't mean turn your brain off, like literally, I mean just turn off the critical parts of your mind, because if you just want to have fun watching a movie, you're gonna have fun watching Dogman. And yeah, that's basically all I gotta say on the Dogman movie. So that was the Dogman series. Honestly, it was great. Of course, I was scared going into this because, again, I'm not a big reader, and what if this stuff's too childish? Because after reading the first Dogman book again for this video, I thought, maybe in my conclusion I'm going to say, yeah, maybe this is just a series for children all along, but the more it went on, there's been lots of bad, but there's also been lots of good. So overall, I think the franchise is pretty good. It's definitely not had the downfall Ninjago had, that's for sure. Granted, I've had some comments saying, maybe I just need to rewatch the series due to how I just fell off with the franchise, and maybe if I watch the newer seasons, maybe I'll like it more. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. We'll figure that one out once I eventually watch Ninjago, after I watch Thomas Season 1 like 4 more times. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and next week, it's Sonic's 35th anniversary, and I hope to see you there.